In the headlines, President Buhari congratulates candidate of People's Democratic Party Ademola Adeleke over victory in Saturday's gubernatorial election in Osun. Former NBA chairman calls for special court to handle banditry cases in Zamfara. NDLEA nabs 27-year-old drug queen with narcotics in Lagos. And on the foreign scene, all 8 crew killed in cargo plane crash in Greece. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello has directed all security agencies to expedite action in rescuing kidnapped persons, saying his administration is leaving no stone unturned in arresting the security situation in the state. The governor made this known through the Secretary to the State Government, Ahmed Ibrahim Matani, during a sympathy visit to General Idris Garba, whose family members were kidnapped in the Abuja-Kaduna terrorist train attack. Idris Garba was the former governor of Benue and Kano states and the chairman Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida University Lapai Governing Council. His son, Abubakar Idris Garba, his wife, Mariam Bobo, and his 4 children were abducted from the train during the incident. The governor lamented the incessant insecurity in the state, where several people had been maimed, killed, with many others abducted. On the Abuja-Kaduna train attack by bandits, Bello said the incident marks another sad moment in the fight against terrorism in the country, and appealed to the families of the Wazir Lapai and other families whose loved ones were abducted to have confidence in the ability of the government to do all that is needed to be done in rescuing their dear ones. A former chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Zamfara State Chapter, Bello Galadi, has recommended the establishment of a special court in the state to deal with banditry-related cases. Galadi gave the recommendation while speaking with Trust TV News in Gusau, the state capital, on the anti-banditry bill which was recently signed into law by Governor Bello Muhammad as part of security measures aimed at tackling the spate of attacks, killings, abductions and cattle rustling in Zamfara State. The report.
The former Zamfara NBA chairman described the anti-banditry law as a welcome development that will boost the ongoing war against banditry-related offences in the state. The banditry law stipulates death penalty for bandits, kidnappers, cultists and cattle rustlers, and 10 to 20 years sentence without option of fine for anyone aiding and abetting banditry-related activities. He, however, believes that for the law to be fully implemented, the state judiciary must be repositioned to expeditiously treat banditry-related cases and ensure quick dispensation of justice to the parties involved.
At the moment, there is an anti-banditry bill which has covered the aspect of informants, and it has provided for the death penalty for bandits and informants as well. It's a very nice development as far as I'm concerned. My only fear is that our government shouldn't relent. Issue of prosecution, because we have a very weak judicial system. We have a very corrupt society. We have a very corrupt system. So no matter how a person is been accused of an offense as such, to bring him to book, to mandate him to face the law is another thing altogether. So there has been a few arrests in the past.
The Zamfara former NBA chairman is not comfortable with the 4 special committees constituted by the state governor, Bello Muhammad, saying the committees have been politicized while members of the committees lack the knowledge and experience of intelligence gathering and prosecution.
Left to me, there should be a banditry commission where intelligence would be managed, so that before you commit the offense, the government will have an idea as to who you are. The government will have an idea as to when you were trying to, when you were preparing to commit the offense, so that government will not be taken off balance. there should be proper intelligence for the government.
A journalist, Anas Anka, said the recent call for Zamfara citizens to bear arms by the governor is a clear indication that the security agencies have not been responsive enough in the fight against the bandits, who have continued to kill innocent citizens on a daily basis in the state. Bello Galadi and Anas Anka, who both agree that having the anti-banditry law in place now is the best option, however want the government to guarantee the implementation of the law in order to tackle banditry in the state.
The People's Democratic Party PDP Councillors Forum from Southern Kaduna Senatorial District has lamented the rising cases of insecurity in the area. The secretary of the forum, Zakaria Achi, at a press briefing in Kaduna, said terrorists have ransacked communities, raped women, killed and kidnapped some, and left several others homeless. The report.
Southern Kaduna is an area that has suffered communal clashes, banditry attack, kidnapping and other security challenges. The Forum of Councillors from the area said insecurity coupled with the delay in basic infrastructure have hindered development in the area.
We need to remind you that the Southern Kaduna, just like other zones in Kaduna State, has been on the wrong side of news, owing to the criminal activities of terrorists. These terrorists have ransacked our villages, raped our women, killed and kidnapped our brethren. Our zone is also suffering from infrastructural decay, owing to government's negligence. We are suffering from lack of roads, lack of electricity, lack of healthcare facilities and industries. 6.
The forum also affirmed the PDP primary election conducted in the area, noting that the zone needs a representative at the National Assembly that will make the zone better and rekindle the hope of the people in the area.
We accept the decision of the delegates as the will of God, and therefore appeal to members of our party to remain united and ensure the party's victory in all elective positions in the forthcoming general elections. We need a stabilizer in Southern Kaduna, someone who can wash away the anguish of our people after years of hopelessness and despair. Someone who can rekindle the hope of our IDPs, students, farmers, and our ravaged communities.
The forum further called on the PDP aspirant in the zone who did not scale the primaries to join hand with the party to ensure the success of the party in the 2023 election.
APC, by embarking on having Muslim ticket as their flag, shows that they are not willing to unite the people. Just like you said, Nigeria is a complex state and is a multi-ethnic and multi-religious state. Kaduna State is a multi-ethnic and multi-religious state.
In another development, a PDP group from the Southern Kaduna at a stakeholders meeting kicked against a Muslim governorship ticket in the state. The group from the Southern Kaduna appealed to all stakeholders of the party to pool resources together to ensure the success of the party at the poll.
The People's Democratic Party 2023 presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has said with his party's victory in Osun State, the march to reclaim Nigeria's greatness has begun. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, early on Sunday declared the PDP candidate Ademola Adeleke, who scored 403,371 votes, the winner. The runner-up was the incumbent governor, Gboyega Oyetola, of the All Progressive Congress, who polled 375,027 votes. Atiku, in a statement on Sunday, said he had affection for the people of Osun State for obvious reasons. He said no matter how difficult a situation is, men and women of courage and astute valor in Osun State will never be a disappointment. Atiku Abubakar further noted that at this point, when our country needs to take a break from the shameful effects of bad governance, it shall be on record that Osun State provided the compass into which that bright future that awaits us at the horizon. The statement partly read, "The referendum on the administration of the APC has commenced with the verdict of the people of Osun State in electing Senator Ademola Adeleke, while we know that the 2023 general election will be a full referendum." Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated candidate of the People's Democratic Party PDP, Ademola Adeleke, following the victory of the party in Saturday's gubernatorial election in Osun. The president's congratulatory message is contained in a statement by his spokesman Femi Adesina on Sunday in Abuja. Buhari expressed conviction that with the election over, the people of Osun have expressed their will through the ballot, and the will of the people must always matter and be respected in a democracy. According to him, the successful conduct of the election is a further testimony to the maturity and commitment of all stakeholders, the electoral body, security agencies, political parties, the media, civil society and the electorate to further strengthen the integrity of the electoral process in the country. Buhari reassured the nation that the commitment of his administration towards having credible elections remains unshaken. The governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has congratulated the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Ademola Adeleke, for emerging winner at the Osun State governorship poll. Congratulating Adeleke in a statement on Sunday, Obaseki said the people of Osun State have made their choices through the ballot, choosing the PDP and their ideals of equity, unity and progress over the retrogressive policies that have had them in dire straits these past years. He thanked INEC for sustaining the electoral reforms which started in September 19, 2020 Edo State governorship election. These reforms have ensured peaceful, fair and credible conduct of the election, which gave the people the freedom to elect their preferred candidates. Meanwhile, former Senate President Bukola Saraki says Ademola Adeleke's victory has reclaimed the stolen mandate of the People's Democratic Party. In a statement released on his social media handles, Saraki emphasized that after the inexplicable loss in 2018, Adeleke demonstrated leadership by working to build a stronger coalition across the state and the nation in order to ensure that the PDP remained the most popular party in the state and emerged victorious 4 years later. The former Senate President also described the incoming Osun State Governor as the leader that Osun needs at this crucial time, while also commending the work of the PDP's polling unit agents who worked for the party's success. And stakeholders in Osun State are in agreement that the just concluded governorship elections in Osun were credible. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade spoke to some political actors in the state, and his report is presented from our studio.
Elections are a major component of genuine democratic settings, and all citizens are expected to partake in the process. Over the years, persons with disabilities and the aged have limited access to the democratic processes because conditions have not been made conducive for them to participate. Globally, 1 billion people experience some form of disability. This accounts for 15% of the world's population. This figure is too huge to be ignored. This is why the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has adopted reforms that will make the electoral process more accessible to persons with disabilities and the aged in Osun State. These reforms were evident at various locations. At Ward 4, Unit 2, Temidire in Ibodi. At Akumosu West Local Government, Alamu Opeyemi was excited because he had voted without hindrance. He said INEC officials made it easy for him to cast his vote. I voted without stress. It was easy for me. I feel the disability for. Let me express my joy now. Also at Ward 8, Unit 1, Isere Ifofun, Elisha East, Local Government, Fataye Abioye, who is on wheelchair, said he enjoyed priority voting and that he was happy that he was allowed to vote immediately he got to the polling center. At Ward 5, Unit 5, Osain in Ilesha West, there was massive turnout of voters and the process went smoothly. Aged men and women came out earlier and sat patiently while waiting for INEC officials to commence the voting. They expressed joy that they were still alive to witness another election. All we want is peaceful election at all time. We don't want trouble. We want peace for Osun State.
We want the best out of this election. We don't want violence. We want peace. God will make it easy for us. We thank God for sparing our lives to witness this election. We are happy to come out for the election. It's our civic responsibility. We want peaceful election. We want our people to be peaceful and shun violence.
At Ward 10, Unit 6, Oro Ajimoko Primary School, Oroba in Ilesha Town, young girls who just clocked 18 were happy to vote for the first time. This inclusivity, no doubt, will promote sense of belongings in the nation's electoral system as INEC keeps improving in its push to ensure free, fair, and credible elections going forward.
And residents of Zamfara State have been advised to use the remaining 2-week extension of INEC's continuous voters registration exercise to obtain or update their permanent voters cards before the July 31st deadline. Chairman Zamfara State Continuous Voter Registration and Mobilization Committee, who is also the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Nasiru Mu'azu Magaria, gave the advice while commenting on the extension of the exercise by 2 weeks. The committee chairman, in a statement by the Director General Public Relations Unit of the State Assembly, Nasiru Biabiki, said the 2 weeks extension remains a great opportunity for those who are yet to obtain or update their PVC to act fast to beat the closing date for the CVR. It further called on the local government committees to liaise with relevant stakeholders in order to realize the set goal of ensuring all eligible persons in the state participated in the exercise. The CVR Mobilization Committee commended the Governor Muhammad Bello administration for granting a work-free week to enable civil and public servants to partake in the exercise. You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still to come after the break, protests after newly introduced taxes in Anambra. This and more after the break. Do stay with us.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now another look at our top stories. President Buhari congratulates candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Ademola Adeleke, over victory on Saturday's gubernatorial election in Osun. And former NBA chairman calls for special court to handle banditry cases in Zamfara. And in other news, the Emir of Endo-Tandaji Emirate in Zamfara State, Aliu Marafa, on Saturday turbaned repentant notorious bandit leader Ado Aliru as the Sarkin Fulani after securing the approval of the state government. The turbaning ceremony, which was said to have been suspended by the Zamfara state government as a result of public outrage on social media, later held on Saturday, 16th July 2022 at about 3 p.m. at Endo-Tandaji town, the headquarters of the newly created emirate in the state. A resident of the community told Trust TV News that the state government later approved and urged the emir to go ahead with the turbaning ceremony. Some locals said the conferment of the traditional title Sarkin Fulani Endo-Tandaji to the once notorious bandit leader was because of his efforts to get the bandits to stop attacking the communities in the area. They also stated that the installation of Ado Aliru as the Sarkin Fulani will give him more power to talk to the recalcitrant bandits to embrace peace and refrain from terrorizing innocent people of the state. Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo has appealed to tricycle riders and commercial taxi drivers to cooperate with his administration for the good of the state. This comes following the protest by tricycle riders and commercial taxi drivers over the newly introduced taxes by the state government. Commissioner for Transportation Patricia Igwebuike, who represented the governor, made the appeal while addressing journalists on the development at the State House, Awka. The commissioner assured the protesters that their taxes and those of other businesses operating in the state will be used to secure and develop the state. Anambra State government had, after a consultative meeting with market leaders and commercial tricycle operators on 29th June 2022, approved a new tax rate for transport sectors in the state, which includes the monthly tax for motorcycle operators to 15,000 naira and 25,000 naira for taxi drivers.
They understand that on a daily basis they pay more. They understand that this is change, but they are resisting it. And we have been transparent with them. We have consistently engaged them. The average keke person in Anambra State pays close to 2,000 naira on a daily basis. And you times it by 30 days. You know what that comes into.
Government is doing this, number one, to ensure that we create a livable and prosperous homeland. So livable on one side, it ensures ensuring that the issues around touting, around harassment and intimidation is handled. Now, prosperous in the sense that we start to generate the kind of revenue that would make Anambra State viable.
As we've seen this past few days, I want to attribute because of enough lack of information, and that we have a responsibility to do. Moving forward, we will now continue to shred this information, break it down, so that our people will understand it.
There's no increment whatsoever, that's for sure. The fees remains the same. So whatever information that you've had is false.
The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has called on the federal government to pay the salaries of striking workers. The request for the payment of the workers is one of two demands the top labour union made in a statement on Sunday, 5 months after a strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, began. Other unions in public universities have since commenced industrial action, strengthening the ASU strike, which started on February 14th, disrupting the education of millions of Nigerian students. In the statement signed by its president, Ayuba Waba, the NLC demanded the federal government should immediately conclude the ongoing negotiation with trade unions in Nigerian universities and be prepared to commence implementation of whatever collective bargaining agreement arising therefrom, so that public universities in Nigeria can resume normal activities. And operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested a 27-year-old drug queen, Mrs. Opola Mujidat, for planting drugs concealed in fetish bowls on two Oman-bound male passengers at the departure hall of the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. The passengers, Raji Babatunde Kazim and Akimbobola Omoni, were traveling together to Oman on an Ethiopian Airlines flight on Monday, 11th July, when they were intercepted by NDLEA operatives at the airport. Here is more on the activities of the agency in the last 1 week.
A search of their luggage revealed wraps of cannabis sativa hidden in bowls of native black soap and sponge packed into a bag containing food items, which Kazim was carrying. Both Kazim and Omoni immediately alerted the anti-narcotic officers that Mujidat, who was still within the vicinity, gave the bag containing the illicit substance to them at the airport. She confessed to the crime and stated that she brought the luggage for the two passengers to give to her husband in Oman. In Nasarawa State, NDLEA operative intercepted over 91 jumbo bags of cannabis weighing 1.295 kilograms concealed in a truck-mounted natural gas tank by Doma Road around 500 Housing Estate in Lafia. A 52-year-old suspect, Ernest Ojihe, was arrested in connection with the seizure. on Saturday, 9th July. In Kaduna and Nasarawa, over 500,000 of pills of pharmaceutical opioids were seized and suspects arrested in raid operations across the two states. In Kaduna alone, 2,941 pills of tramadol and diazepam were seized from Shaban Nasir, Aminu Usman and Shamsuddin Hussaini along Abuja-Kaduna Express Road, as well as Saidu Yahya and Umar Abubakar during a follow-up operation in Kano, all on Friday, 15th July 2022. In the same vein, over 2,700 different grades of tramadol tablets were seized during the raid of a patent medicine store at Sabon Layi, close to Mubi Main Market, Mubi North Local Government Area, Adamawa State, on Sunday, 3rd July. While commending the officers and men of the MMIA, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and Adamawa commands for the arrest schedules, their dexterity, Chairman Chief Executive Officer NDLEA, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, in a statement signed by the agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, warned drug cartels that no matter the iniquity of their modes of concealment, the delicate workforce of the agency will always expose them and their tricks.
And in business news, Nigeria's oil production crashed by about 14.94 million barrels in the second quarter of this year, according to data obtained from the latest monthly oil market report of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries for June 2022. In OPEC's crude oil production database on direct communication from its 13 member nations, the organization stated that in the first quarter of this year, Nigeria produced 1.299 million barrels of oil per day, but this dropped to 1.133 million barrels per day in the second quarter, indicating a plunge of 166,000 barrels per day. And now for a look at the international scene, where Serbia's Defense Minister Nebojša Stefanović on Sunday confirmed that all 8 crew members of a cargo plane that crashed near the Greek city of Kavala died in the accident. Stefanović said the Ukrainian-operated Antonov AN-12 was carrying mines and around 11 tons of weapons to Bangladesh when it crashed on Saturday night. The plane had taken off from Niš Airport in Serbia at around 8:40 p.m. on Saturday, carrying weapons owned by private Serbian company Valir. Greek rescue services are using a drone on Sunday to monitor the wreckage of the aircraft, as fears about the toxicity of the cargo were forcing them to keep at a distance. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.